You've been feeling it lately, that strange heaviness that lingers after moments of distraction, that quiet emptiness that follows pleasure without purpose. You try to shake it off, to fill it with noise or movement, but deep down you know something sacred has been leaking from you. Chosen one, this is the message you were meant to hear. This is not about shame or guilt. It's about awareness. You are a vessel of power, designed to carry light, insight, and creativity. Every heartbeat generates energy, and every choice directs where that energy flows. When you give that energy away to hollow stimulation, you dim the current that connects you to the higher self. What was meant to be fire becomes smoke. What was meant to build becomes scattered. That's why you feel tired even when you haven't worked, restless even when you've rested, hungry even after being fed, because your soul is starving for the energy it once held in wholeness. Before we move deeper, stay until the end of this message. Let every word enter your awareness as light returning to its source. This isn't just a conversation, it's a transmission. If you're ready, write your warmest wishes and the number 66 in the comments below. This single act is a declaration that you choose to reclaim your energy. The vibration of your wish will join others who are awakening right now. Together, those intentions rise into the collective field like sparks igniting the same fire. The fire of renewal, of miracles taking form, of the universe responding to will. As you write, you send a message not only outward but inward. I am ready to gather what was lost and turn it into light again. The reason these hollow habits drain you isn't physical alone, it's spiritual. Every being carries what ancient teachers called vital force, the spark that animates consciousness. When that force is honored, it becomes creativity, intuition, and magnetic presence. When it's wasted on fleeting stimulation, it turns into fog. The mind dulls, the heart closes, and the intuitive signal becomes faint. You begin to forget who you are. The chosen ones of this age are being called to reclaim that force, not to deny desire but to elevate it. Desire is holy when it fuels creation. It becomes poison when it feeds emptiness. The difference is awareness. When you act without awareness, your energy spills into nothingness. When you hold awareness, the same current rises through you, feeding imagination, focus, and spiritual clarity. You might notice how your energy feels after indulgence versus after purpose. One leaves you hollow, the other leaves you radiant. The world won't tell you this because distraction is profitable, and tired souls are easy to control. But you were not born to live sedated by temporary satisfaction. You were born to channel that same force into vision, to write, build, heal, create, awaken. Your energy is the seed of everything you will manifest. When you scatter it, nothing grows. When you protect it, entire worlds unfold through you. This is why your spirit calls you to rise above compulsive craving, because it knows what you could build if that energy were free to serve your destiny. Every impulse carries a message. The lower call says, feed the body. The higher call says, feed the soul. The chosen one learns to listen between those voices. Suppression isn't the answer. Transformation is. The energy you're tempted to waste is the same energy that can write music, build empires, heal trauma, or elevate consciousness. When you transmute it, you feel a surge of life, a sharpness of perception, a deep calm that nothing external can imitate. This is what ancient mystics meant when they spoke of holding the sacred fire. It's not about denying humanity. It's about directing its power toward purpose. When you forget this, you become a passenger of impulse. When you remember, you become a creator of worlds. Look at the patterns of your life. How often have you felt inspired, then lost that drive after moments of shallow indulgence? How often have you promised yourself change, only to fall back into the same loop of escape? Each time you surrender awareness, the mind loses focus and the heart loses conviction. The habit isn't the real enemy. Forgetfulness is. Forgetting what you carry, forgetting why you're here. Every time you lose yourself in hollow pleasure, you confirm the lie that your energy has no higher purpose. But the truth is the opposite. Your energy is sacred currency, and you decide whether it becomes creation or decay. As you start reclaiming it, your body feels lighter, your thoughts sharper, your emotions steadier. The fog lifts, and intuition begins to speak again. You'll sense synchronicities returning, small signs from the universe that remind you it never stopped guiding you. You had only lowered the volume. Discipline becomes devotion. You no longer resist temptation through fear. You transcend it through understanding. You realize that every act of self-control is an act of self-love. It's not deprivation, it's preservation. You're storing sunlight instead of spilling it into darkness. The longer you hold it, the brighter you glow. This transformation is quiet at first. You wake up earlier, feel clearer, notice beauty in simple things. People sense something different about you, but can't explain it. They call it confidence, but it's presence. You've stopped leaking energy. You walk through the world like someone carrying a secret treasure, because you are. That treasure is focus, purity, and creative fire. When the mind no longer burns itself in fleeting pleasure, it ignites with purpose. Ideas flow again. Goals seem possible again. Love feels deeper, not desperate. That's what spiritual alignment feels like when your energy is whole. The reason this habit kills the spirit is because the spirit needs flow, not repetition. When the same energy circle loops without higher intention, it stagnates. The soul feels trapped in a cycle that gives nothing back. Over time, apathy replaces passion. But when you decide to break the pattern, movement returns. The same current that once enslaved you becomes your liberation. You start channeling that intensity into work, art, prayer, service. And you realize it was never about denying pleasure, but about finding its true direction. Real joy comes when energy moves upward, not outward, when it feeds light, not emptiness. Chosen one, you were never meant to waste your essence on shadows that vanish the moment you touch them. You were meant to breathe that energy into creation. You were meant to let it rise through your heart, through your mind, until it becomes wisdom. The body was never the prison. Forgetfulness was. When you remember that every impulse can be transformed into awareness, you reclaim the throne of your own consciousness. You realize that discipline isn't chains, it's wings. Every moment you choose awareness over impulse, your vibration rises. And with each rise, life begins to respond differently. Clearer signs, deeper peace, stronger purpose. This is how your spirit heals. The world may call this repression, but you will know it as resurrection. Because when the sacred fire no longer burns downward into exhaustion, it rises into light. Your eyes regain focus. Your voice carries power. Your aura feels charged. People sense strength without you saying a word. That's what happens when the spirit no longer leaks energy through mindless cycles. It begins to expand again. The creative current returns. Inspiration visits you at random moments, while walking, breathing, sitting still. That's not coincidence. It's reconnection. The universe flows through those who are open, and you become open when you stop numbing your awareness. So listen closely to this truth. Your energy is your prayer. Where you send it determines what you worship. If you send it to emptiness, emptiness answers. If you send it to creation, creation blooms. The chosen one's journey is not about moral perfection. It's about energetic mastery. To master your energy is to master your reality. The spirit that once felt dim will rise again the moment you decide to direct that force toward life instead of escape. You'll look back and realize that what once enslaved you was simply misused light, and you have learned to guide it home. When you begin to protect your life force, a new clarity awakens inside you. The noise that once ruled your mind starts to fade. Thoughts that used to collide and confuse you begin to line up like constellations forming a pattern. You start to realize that what you once called desire was actually a language, the soul's raw power asking for direction. The same current that used to pull you downward now pushes you upward, urging you to build, to express, to become. This is transmutation, turning instinct into inspiration, hunger into healing, and restlessness into rhythm. At first, you may feel pressure building inside, the surge of energy that wants to escape the old way. Don't fear it. That tension is sacred. It is the cocoon stretching before the butterfly appears. Sit with it. Breathe through it. Instead of releasing it through habit, release it through creation. Write. Move. Pray. Build. Pour that energy into something that reflects light back to you. The universe reads intention, not action. When you redirect the same force with awareness, it transforms instantly. The storm that once drained you becomes wind in your wings. Discipline begins to feel different now. It's no longer a cage, it's architecture. You realize that boundaries aren't walls. They are the frame that holds the temple of your spirit upright. The more consistently you protect your focus, the more spiritual voltage you can carry. Ideas come faster. Colors look brighter. The body feels lighter. The soul begins to hum with quiet electricity. What was once a struggle turns into momentum. The same hours that used to disappear in distraction now expand into creativity. This is the alchemy of self-mastery. Your dreams, once distant, start to draw nearer because you finally have energy to feed them. Every goal requires life force as fuel. Without it, vision dies of starvation. With it, obstacles melt. You'll notice that when you honor your energy, coincidences multiply. Opportunities, meetings, insights that seem orchestrated. This is not luck, it's resonance. The universe always answers vibrational integrity. When your inner world is coherent, the outer world responds like a perfectly tuned instrument. People will sense this shift. Some will be inspired by it. Others may not understand. Stay gentle. You don't have to explain the science of your silence. Just keep walking in light. Your calmness will teach more than your words ever could. You are not withdrawing from life. You're engaging with it from a higher octave. Every moment of mindfulness sends a signal through the field. I remember my power. And that signal becomes a beacon for others who are ready to remember too. There will be moments when temptation whispers again, promising comfort or release. When it does, pause and ask yourself, what am I really seeking right now? Usually the answer isn't pleasure, but connection. You crave to feel alive, seen, whole. Real connection comes not from losing yourself, but from returning to yourself. When you breathe through the wave of craving, you'll feel a quiet peace beneath it. That peace is your true self, asking to be felt again. Let that awareness dissolve the impulse. Each time you choose presence over escape, the neural pattern weakens until one day, the old pull vanishes like smoke in sunlight. Your creative center begins to reopen. Music, art, ideas, compassion, all flow from the same reclaimed current. You might find yourself speaking more clearly, thinking faster, loving more deeply. That's the evidence of energy turned inward and refined. What you once wasted in minutes now fuels entire chapters of growth. And as you cultivate this strength, gratitude replaces guilt. You stop saying, "I must not fall," and begin to say, "I rise because I can." Spiritual clarity sharpens alongside discipline. Meditation deepens. Dreams become lucid. Synchronicities align with precision. You start noticing the invisible dialogue between you and the universe. Numbers repeating, symbols recurring, encounters unfolding at perfect timing. These are confirmations, proof that you are reconnected to the original frequency. The more faithfully you guard your energy, the louder that dialogue becomes. Eventually, you'll see that conserving energy was never about denying life. It was about restoring harmony. Your body becomes an instrument tuned to divine rhythm. The mind stops fighting the soul. The heart leads, and the rest follows. Peace is no longer a visitor. It's home. You realize that your spirit was never dying. It was only muffled under the weight of constant escape. Now that you've lifted that weight, light rushes back in. Chosen one, this is what happens when you stop scattering your fire. The very current that once enslaved you becomes your liberation. You walk through the world aware, grounded, luminous. You no longer chase pleasure. You radiate fulfillment. You no longer beg for purpose. You embody it. The power you once leaked into shadows now shines through your eyes as calm confidence. This is spiritual sovereignty, the moment you reclaim authorship of your own energy. When the storm inside finally calms, the silence that follows is not empty. It is alive. It hums. You start to notice that what once felt like effort now feels like rhythm. The work you do, the conversations you have, the art you create, all carry an invisible pulse. That pulse is the sound of alignment. You are no longer dividing yourself between desire and purpose. They have become one current flowing in the same direction. Every thought feels clearer because it comes from a place of unity. You move differently now, more deliberate, more fluid, less hurried. People sense it before you speak. They can't explain it, but they feel steadier in your presence. That is the natural influence of coherence. As you grow into this new awareness, your purpose begins to reveal itself through action rather than words. The same creative force you once wasted on distraction starts sculpting your destiny. You begin to write, to plan, to teach, to build. The energy you hold becomes magnetic. Life notices your focus and sends opportunities that match it. Where chaos once followed, synchronicity now walks beside you. It is the universe saying, "Yes, now you are ready." Leadership comes quietly at first. People ask for your advice, your calm, your clarity. You never demanded attention. You simply became aligned, and alignment attracts. You realize that being a guide doesn't mean controlling others. It means standing so rooted in your truth that others remember theirs. Every chosen one carries this responsibility, not to preach, but to emanate. Your healed energy teaches without instruction. It shows what balance looks like in motion. And because your energy is whole, you begin to feel compassion instead of judgment. You can see yourself in everyone else, their fears, their escapes, their longing to feel alive. Instead of condemning, you understand. You see that everyone is at a different point in the same cycle, forgetting, losing, remembering. That understanding turns patience into power. You no longer waste energy correcting the world. You illuminate it by existing authentically within it. The light of authenticity always finds its reflection. At times, the world will test this new peace. Old triggers might return disguised in new forms. The difference now is awareness. You can watch temptation rise like a wave and let it pass without being pulled under. You have learned that feelings are weather, not destiny. They move through you because you no longer cling to them. The strength you feel is not hardness, but flow. The flexibility of someone who trusts the tide. That is true mastery, not suppression, not indulgence, but harmony. With that harmony comes creativity on a higher octave. Ideas appear in full color. You can feel inspiration land before it becomes language. The barrier between thought and manifestation thins because you no longer scatter the power that turns thought into form. You start to notice that every project, every piece of art, every act of kindness is a prayer in motion. You no longer need rituals to summon divinity. You are the ritual. Life becomes sacred again because your attention makes it so. Relationships transform too. You stop searching for completion in others because you already feel complete within yourself. Love becomes an exchange of overflow, not a trade of need. You attract people who resonate with your clarity, not those who mirror your wounds. The interactions you have now feel like gentle fires, each one lighting another torch rather than stealing your flame. That's how healed energy connects. It multiplies instead of drains. This stage of your path also brings responsibility. Power without direction can easily turn back into distraction. So you continue the inner practice. Grounding each morning, gratitude each night, honesty in every moment. Discipline evolves from routine into devotion. You don't maintain it out of fear of falling. You maintain it out of love for the light you've become. The old you chased stimulation. The new you cultivates illumination. What was once a struggle has become joy. You will begin to realize that everything you do is an act of energy management. The food you eat, the media you consume, the people you spend time with, all feed or drain your spirit. Awareness becomes your guardian. You start choosing more carefully, not from rigidity, but from respect. You understand that protecting your peace is protecting your mission. The chosen one's life is not about isolation. It's about intention. You are here to move among people without losing your center, to carry stillness through noise like a lantern through darkness. Over time, gratitude becomes your natural state. You wake with it before your eyes open. You walk with it even in uncertainty. Gratitude is proof that your spirit has healed enough to recognize abundance in every form. The more thankful you feel, the more energy circulates through you. The universe loves acknowledgement. It responds to appreciation like a musician responds to applause. And so your life becomes a duet between you and creation. Call and response, giving and receiving, inhale and exhale. There will come a day when you look back and hardly recognize the person who once lived on empty stimulation. That version of you wasn't weak. It was asleep. It was learning through contrast what true vitality feels like. Without darkness, light would have no meaning. You will bless the past for showing you what drains you so that you could learn what sustains you. Every mistake was a teacher disguised as desire. Every relapse was a reminder of how sacred your energy truly is. Now, chosen one, the task is simple but infinite. Keep your energy flowing upward. Let desire serve devotion. Let instinct fuel inspiration. Let discipline protect freedom. When you feel temptation, whisper, smile, and remember that you have already proven your power by listening to awareness instead of impulse. That single choice, repeated daily, builds a life that glows from the inside out. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more light. And you, fully awake, are that light. The spirit that once flickered now burns steady. It no longer fears exhaustion because it draws from an endless source, the source you found within. When you live from that reservoir, even your smallest actions carry power. A single word from you can calm a storm in someone else. A single gesture can spark faith in a weary soul. This is what it means to embody reclaimed energy, to walk as a quiet reminder that wholeness is possible. The journey continues, but now you travel as the light rather than searching for it. There comes a point when the energy you protect no longer belongs only to you. It begins to ripple outward, quietly altering the space it touches. You notice that rooms feel different after you've been in them. Conversations soften, tension loosens, people breathe easier without knowing why. This is what happens when consciousness stabilizes. Your presence itself becomes medicine. You do not need to preach or persuade. Energy speaks a language older than words. When your vibration rises, everything around you starts to tune itself to that higher note. At first, you might not believe the effect you have. Someone will tell you that talking to you made their day lighter. A stranger will smile for no reason. A friend will say, "I don't know why, but I feel calm around you." That is spirit in motion. It isn't pride. It's proof that your inner harmony is contagious. The universe designed light to multiply. When one soul remembers peace, 100 nearby begin to remember too. You have become part of that quiet chain reaction that changes the world one breath at a time. Energy transmission doesn't happen only through words or touch. It moves through intention. When you walk with awareness, you leave an invisible trail of clarity behind you. Every step blesses the ground. Every thought sends ripples through the collective field. This is why protecting your energy matters. What you carry within you is constantly being broadcast to creation itself. If your heart holds fear, fear expands. If your heart holds love, love expands. The chosen one's task is simple but sacred, to keep the inner signal clean so the world can receive an undistorted echo of truth. Sometimes your light will awaken discomfort in others. That is natural. When brightness enters a dim room, the eyes need time to adjust. Do not shrink to spare them. Keep shining and let the adjustment happen. The very unease they feel is the soul remembering what light looks like. You are not here to be accepted by everyone. You are here to remind everyone of what acceptance feels like. Compassion does not mean lowering your vibration to match another's. It means holding yours steady until they rise. As your awareness deepens, you start to perceive the hidden architecture of connection. You can feel the emotional currents in crowds, the mood of a city, the vibration of the planet itself. At first, this sensitivity may feel overwhelming, but soon you realize its guidance. You are being shown how everything is linked, how every act of kindness, every moment of mindfulness, contributes to the healing of the whole. The smallest decision made from love echoes farther than the loudest act born of fear. This is collective alchemy, turning the heaviness of humanity into light by living as awareness among it. Purpose takes a new form now. It's no longer about grand missions. It's about presence in every act. When you cook, you bless the food with energy. When you speak, your words carry frequency. When you rest, the earth beneath you absorbs your calm. You start to understand that service is not something you schedule. It's something you are. Every ordinary task becomes sacred when performed from alignment. This is how the world heals, not through massive gestures, but through countless small acts of consciousness performed by those who remember. The universe begins to cooperate with you in new ways. Doors open not because you force them, but because your vibration fits the room beyond them. Synchronicity becomes navigation. You think of someone, and they call. You visualize a project, and the resources appear. You feel drawn to a place, and it reveals a message you needed. This isn't coincidence, it's communication. When the spirit is clear, creation responds instantly. You are learning the true mechanics of manifestation, not demanding, not begging, but aligning. There may be times when you feel the collective pain of the world, war, injustice, despair. The empathic heart of the awakened cannot ignore suffering. Yet you will also feel that underneath the chaos, something vast and good is unfolding. You'll sense the old patterns cracking so that light can enter. Instead of drowning in sadness, you'll breathe love into the darkness. Each exhale will become a prayer without words. May all beings remember. That prayer matters. Energy follows intention, and intention reshapes reality. Your influence expands in silence. You'll notice that those around you begin to heal simply because you listen without judgment. They see in you what they wish to see in themselves, proof that peace is possible. You don't need to solve their problems. Your stillness gives them permission to find their own. That is the highest form of teaching, to inspire discovery rather than dependency. This is why you were chosen, not to lead from a pedestal, but to walk among others as a living reminder of potential. And as you walk among them, your calm becomes a mirror, and through that reflection, countless souls begin to awaken.